Hello, everybody, and welcome to Spotlight. It is so great to see all of you joining in from all over Europe. If you want to go ahead and say where you're from, say hello, you can go ahead and write it in the chat. As I think most of you know, I'm Haley. I'm going to be your host for today for Spotlight. And it is so fantastic to have you all joining in. I know the weather is probably pretty good outside. Summer is at our doorstep. And so I appreciate you guys taking the time to add to your toolbox, your skill tool set, and keep learning. And that's what we're going to be focusing on in today's session. We're going to be talking about a very important topic, key to your business, and that is winning new clients, specifically seller clients. We're going to be hearing from three top performers today, and we have a really awesome lineup. So perfect. Some of you guys already started writing in the chat. Greetings from Finland, from Greece. So great. We have a lot of people joining from Greece. One of our speakers is from Greece. So it's great to see RE/MAX Greece represented. Awesome. If you guys are looking for Polish translation, you can go ahead and navigate to the bottom of your screen and you will be able to hear from our lovely Polish translators. If not, then you're going to hear me in English, and I hope that's good for you. Perfect. So we're going to go ahead and get started. As I said, we have three fantastic speakers for you today and a jam-packed session. So let's go ahead and get started. Our very first speaker is Frederico. He is actually a RE/MAX Europe ambassador. We're very happy to call him an ambassador. And he's a top performing team leader from RE/MAX in Portugal. Let's see if we can get Frederico here. Awesome. Hi, Frederico.
Hello.
How are you?
Hello, everyone. Nice to be here. And thanks a lot.
Nice. Fantastic. We're so happy to have you here. And you're going to be talking to us a little bit about some of your listing presentation tips that helped you become awarded one of the top 10 RE/MAX agents worldwide. And I'm really looking forward to hearing your take on some tips that you have for how you win new clients during the listing presentation. But before we get to that, the topic that everybody wants to know in today's changing market is, how's the market? How's your local market over there in Portugal?
Okay, very well. Like I said, thank you very much for the invitation. Congratulations on Spotlight show. Very nice. And sorry about my English, everyone. I hope I can I understand myself for everyone. So I think I work in the center of Portugal in Leiria, a city called Leiria. It's 1 hour north from Lisbon, and the market here is cooling down. Since the beginning of January, we feel that the inflation, the increase of the interest rates slow down here the leads of the buyers, and that changed a lot here our market. And we are trying to adapt. And I think the key word in our market, and I think a little bit all over Europe, I think, and even the world, it's to adapt because if you are an agent that enter in the real estate business for 2 years, 3, 5 years, maybe you will feel more differences in the market right now. If you used to make 10 calls a day, right now I think you should do 20 or 30. But I think there is an opportunity for the good professionals and the ones, even the new ones that wants to make a big business and deliver is very best, is real attention to the clients, because the clients right now are very afraid. Some of the clients that are freezing because they don't know what to do right now, and our job it's to help them, I think.
Yeah, actually, and I'm thank you very much for telling us how's the market. As you said, maybe you need to make a few more calls than you would have, 6 months or a year ago, but there is a really big opportunity there. And one word you mentioned in particular was some agents might be a little bit freezing. And that actually brings me to my next question, which is, I think that there's maybe some anxiety that some of the agents have in terms of how to present a pricing strategy in today's market when it's cooling down a little bit. Because, they've been used to presenting one type of pricing strategy and now they have to adapt. So do you have any advice for them when it comes to presenting your pricing strategy during a listing presentation in today's market?
Of course. Yes. When I started in 2006 in Remax, since the beginning, I work a method, a professional method that helped me a lot for all these years, even in the market that it was easy to sell. Because when you have a market that is easy to sell, normally it's difficult to make the listings. And the other things, I think this moment could be the beginning of the change. I think it will be more difficult to sell, but it's more easy to make listing if you are a professional.
Okay.
If there is a big difference, I think I'll been able to make so much listings because I follow that method. So first of all, I still make cold calls. Okay, I have too much, not too much, but very much clients and very much contacts. But I continue to go after new clients, and I have a method. The way that I make the first call, I just want to meet the person. I just want to know his story, the couple story, and then after know the clients, after know the why they want to sell, then I go to the second part. And the second part is to present my marketing plan, my terms, my terms that we could work together, the 6 months in the contract, the 5% plus TVA, and why I work in exclusivity and why the exclusivity is a benefit to my clients. And then I present the market study. Even in the good market that everything was sold, I still try to present the market study. In this market, it is essential to present the market study. And how can you present a market study? You have to have data. Here in Portugal, we have a big data from Remax because we are leaders, of course. In Portugal, it's easier, I think, and we have data not only the selling price, but the price it was sold, and that's important because you cannot have a client that know more about the local market than you, because you are the professional. If you work in a country or in an area that you don't have so much data, you have to find the data on the neighborhood. You have to monitor and track the portals when you see the prices and you see how much longer an apartment were in that portal. You can talk to local shop owners. You have to be on the street talking to the person. Even in Portugal, we need to do that. And right now, it's difficult to give the exact price to the clients because we are in that phase. Okay, it continues higher or it starts to slow, and it's not easy. So we have to be every day on the street, every day monitor, searching data so that we can be and make the difference to the clients.
I think it's a pretty simple, straightforward strategy, but it seems like it has a pretty big impact. And now I have a final question for you, which is a common one, I think, for a lot of our agents listening in. What do you say to homeowners in front of you during the listing presentation who want to list their property at a price that you know is too high and that it will be hard for you to sell? How do you handle this situation?
Oh, yeah, I think the word is why. Why the seller wants to sell this house is the seller that wants to sell this house because this couple have a dream and to buy a bigger house so their children can play on outside, or it's because they want to run away from something bad, maybe a divorce, maybe the mortgage is too high. And you need to know the why, because if the why is strong, first of all, the clients will value your marketing plan, okay, your service. And if it's not a big why, they don't value. Okay, then don't give the importance. I don't know, the significance that you are transmitted to them. And also the same is with the price. If I want to sell my property because I want to make money, I will not understand the price because I don't care. But if I have a strong motive, oh, I get divorced, oh, I want to be in that new house, then I will understand. So
Yeah.
the real question here is why the clients want to sell. And I think right now the agents, the professionals need to do more questions, pay attention, because not all the time the client says all the truth, okay, and it's normal because he has to have confidence in us. But I think the why, it's the main reason. And you have one other thing that it's not about directly the question, but I think what makes the difference right now also is if you are a positive person, if you are a positive agent. I always say, if I go to a doctor and I have a disease, and one doctor tell me, okay, Frederico, this is not good, it not well, it will end well, I will not choose that doctor. If I go to the other one, it tells Frederico, this is not good, but we will work, we will do our best. And we need to give hope, confidence to the clients right now. And I think that's a little, that's adapt, be positive, train a lot, because we'll start, all the time we hear no's, but right now in the price, we will more no's, because people are used to higher prices. So you have to give them the information and understand the why. And there's one thing that is good for us. People will always need to live in a house, or they rent or they buy. Here in Portugal, there are not too much offer for renting houses, and the price is too high. So we need to be there. If the client don't buy a detached house, maybe we'll buy an apartment. Maybe it's not new. It's and it's maybe not 3 bedrooms, maybe 2, but we will be there, and I think we'll have business for the ones that are professionals. That's my opinion.
The key takeaway: if you stay true to being professional, having great customer service, and understanding the motivation, then you will continue to be successful in any market. Good words to live by. Thank you so much, Frederico, for your time and for sharing some listing presentation strategies.
Thank you.
Perfect. And that actually is the perfect segue to our next guest. Thanasis from Remax Greece. Because I was catching up with you the other day about having a price reduction strategy. And it was funny because when I was talking to Frederico, he was saying, knowing the motivation, understanding the right motivation that the homeowners have is key to setting the pricing strategy during the listing presentation, because you were telling me that actually the price reduction conversation starts during the listing presentation. So maybe you could elaborate a little bit more about that and how to have the price reduction conversation with homeowners.
Great. Hello, everyone, first of all, and great words, Frederico. Bravo for this. But I always start my presentations by asking one simple question. Has any of you magic powers?
Sometimes
so for the rest of us, Hailey, do you?
No, I said sometimes I like to pretend like I do. No, but I don't think so. As far as I know, no.
For the rest of us, we need to understand that we cannot do miracles. During medieval times, many of people tried to transmute noble base metals to noble metals, meaning these are the alchemists, and the most common example is that they lead into gold, okay? So we need to understand what is our job. Our job is to take one uncut gem, cut it, make it brilliant, and demonstrate it to the client. We need to understand it. And what is an uncut gem for us in real estate?
Uncut gem.
The uncut gem is the listing that it is in pretty much the right price, meaning no more than 15% of the right now market price, and it's the property that actually market wants. These are the two criteria in order for us to accept a listing, in order to demonstrate, in order to do our marketing, in order to do our consulting, in order to do our job. And this is what differentiates us from salesmen. I always say that. Let's say an example. I'll take you, Helen, as an example. I'm a salesman, you are the client, okay? At the moment that Haley says yes my job is done. Okay, this is the salesman. But for us, in our industry, in real estate, even if Hailey says yes, we need to say yes as well for that. And this is really, really, really important. So please, step 0, I say this, do not accept any listing that it's not the right one.
Very, very key. Yeah, because if you have, I mean, it's nice to have a very big portfolio full of properties, but if you know that they're all overpriced or will just sit on the market and nothing will happen, you're essentially working for free because you know they won't sell down the line. So step 0, make sure to sign with clients who are actually willing to sell, which actually goes kind of back to, or connects back to what Federico was saying. And then you have a few more steps to this price reduction conversation. So let's imagine that, you know, you said yes to the client, and now, you know, you've marketed the property, but the listing is sitting on the market for a long time and it's not getting very much attention. How can an agent prepare for the price reduction conversation?
Okay, first thing first, congratulations for getting the listing. That's the first step. Okay. Secondly, we need to understand what is the major issue for services worldwide. And not just real estate, but this is applicable to every single type of services. Like, let's say I'm civil engineer, same goes there. Lawyers is exactly the same, accountants, and so on. The first problem, the main issue that they are facing is that service is not something that the client can see. It's not something that the client can feel. Therefore, most of the times, it is not appreciated. We need to find out how to make the immaterial to material.
Yeah.
And in order to do so, we need to communicate every single action that we are doing towards our clients. And by every single action, I mean, for example, phone calls. For example, open house that will take place. Showings that happened already. Advertisement. Where do you advertise? How do you advertise? And so on. We need to communicate every single step that we are doing. This is the first step.
Okay, so you need to make sure that you as an agent, I guess, are keeping track of all of the actions you are taking, so that way then you can present the evidence, you know, that you have executed your marketing strategy, but still the listing is sitting on the market. How do you, what's the next step in your process?
Now we need to understand a bit how the seller is thinking.
Okay.
Let's say I'm a seller, okay? And I'm having the property, let's say this one, for 200K in the market. And agent, Hailey is my agent. Well done, Hailey, great job so far. And suddenly, you know, at the moment that sellers, and this is a common fact that we are facing all over again and again and again. Whenever a seller, let's say me, for this example, lists a property at 200K, I have already deposited that amount in my bank account. And not just that, yes, of course. And not just that, I have already made plans how to spend them.
Yeah.
So when Kyle comes and tells me, you know, Thanasis, you don't have 200K in your bank account, you have 150. Will any one of you accept this statement from Hailey that you have 50K euros less?
No, I would say no. I have this 200K allocated in my, you know, imaginary bank in my brain.
And the phrase that I always use is the following: whenever you think that there are money that you don't need or you don't want, always my e-banking is available for you.
Yeah, right.
So you need to understand that how the sellers are thinking.
Yeah.
The second part is one of the greatest inventions in history of mathematics is the zero. It was invented in India around 650 AD, and it actually blown mathematicians' mind because everything else suddenly mattered. Okay, so zero has great power.
Yeah.
Do not fear to show to our clients that, you know what, we had a marketing plan. This is the marketing plan that we had. Okay, I'm doing this. Okay, I'm communicating my actions to you. The listing is still on. It's an automatic conclusion that the problem should be, or at least a possibility, is the price. That's more than enough to go on into the negotiations. It's more than enough.
Perfect. So now you have, you've tracked your actions, you've demonstrated your actions, you have empathized with them because now they have 50,000 euros less in their imaginary bank account, and you've negotiated with them on the price. This seems like a pretty straightforward. How do you actually have that final piece of the conversation with them? Is it pretty straightforward if you follow this plan?
There is a book called The Art of War by Sun Tzu.
Okay.
And there is a phrase within it that I love. It says that do not give battles that doesn't matter. Always try to win the war. It's really, really important, this one. We don't have to argue about everything. Actually, during the negotiation part, it's pretty straightforward. Let's say Haile will say that, okay, Haile, you need more time. I will invest more time, but we need to lower the price. She needs more marketing. Okay, I will do more marketing, but we need to lower the price.
Okay.
Just make her feel, in our example, Haile, that she's right. Okay, I will do more, but we need to lower the price. This is something, this is a coincidence that will happen no matter what.
Okay. Yeah, because then you're acknowledging them, acknowledging their need, but you're also, saying you're not a magician.
Yes, exactly. Unless some of you have magic powers. I repeat that question.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much. Are there any last pieces of advice you have for agents when it comes to having the price reduction conversation?
Well, in order to summarize what we have discussed today, I would say the following. First of all, always try to pick what it really matters, the right people to cooperate with, the right listing to get. Okay. Secondly, we need to understand that we need to acknowledge our client about our services that we are providing. If you don't communicate what you are doing, you don't do it. It's simple as this. Third part is we need to understand that how the seller is thinking, and that the zero has great power. And lastly, we need, during our conversation, to have one straightforward goal. We need to lower the price. Okay, we need to lower the price. Okay, we need to lower the price.
Okay.
At the end of the day, if you think about it, in our career, we have come into these conversations over and over and over and over and over and again. And it will happen over and over and over again. So in an argument that it's us versus the client. Okay, I'm always thinking like a box fight in my mind. Yeah. It's like we have done this multiple times, while our clients, most of them, the majority of them, it's probably the first time that they're coming to this. So it's like going into a war, and we are in organized structure with generals, infantry, cavalry, the buccaneers, and so on. And we have against some civilians with weapons. Can they stand the chance? Can they stand the chance? That's the real question.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, if you're well prepared and you've set up the conversation over the course of, your relationship working with this homeowner, then having the price reduction conversation doesn't need to be as overwhelming or nerve-wracking as I think some agents maybe make it out to be, as long as you follow the structure. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing your price reduction tips and conversation with us. We're going to keep moving right along to our next guest, who is a real estate marketing expert, author, and founder of the Listings Lab. Jess, are you here?
I am here.
So lovely to have you with us today.
I am so happy
and of
to
course,
be here.
Jess, as for those of you who don't know her, she's a fresh face for RE/MAX here in Europe. But she has been in a real estate agent for over 13 years, built a 7-figure business that has sold over 300 million in property in the last 5 years. And of course, now she is the founder of the Listings Lab. And I'm very curious and looking forward to hearing more about how you grew that business and reaching such a huge milestone in your career. So I'm going to give the virtual stage over to you so we can learn more about your process and how you did that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm really excited to be here. Hello, everybody. You may hear from my accent, I am clearly Canadian. You'll hear some A's and some sorries and some boots and all kinds of things as we go through today. So bear with me. If there's anything that you don't understand, just let me know. So here's what I'm going to do today. I am going to go through a training that I've put together for you guys today. I'm going to share my screen really quickly, and then I'm going to play from start. Okay. So here's what I want to go through with you today. This is going to be very different from what you've heard so far. I want to go through our kind of proven 3-step method to getting consistent clients from social media. And I don't mean, the odd lead. What we're talking about here is inbound clients. Before I get into everything though, I really always like to set up the training in a way that makes sense for everybody. So you've all been through the last couple of years, probably on 100 Zoom trainings. And I know that I might just get lumped in with everybody else, but I promise I'm going to give you all the goods today. So eliminate as many distractions as you can, be as actively engaged as you can. And my email is open. I've dropped it here. It's just jess@thelistingslab.com because we are tight for time. I want to get through as much value as I can for you today. So if you have questions along the way, please feel free to drop them in the chat, or you can also send me an email, and I promise you I will answer all of your questions in as much detail as I possibly can. This training is specifically for people in real estate who want to leverage social media to grow their business. Everything that we teach is about generating inbound business. So maybe you've been trying to figure out social media for a while and it feels a little bit overwhelming. Maybe what you're doing, or you've been trying to be consistent and it hasn't been getting you clients. And this is all about creating fast and sustainable growth through organic social media. And a lot of the people who are adopting this nowadays are the people who you're seeing kind of climbing through the ranks, even though the market is funny. So I like to start trainings with this. If you're not able to develop a consistent and predictable marketing strategy that generates you high caliber clients, it's always going to feel like you're spinning your wheels inside your business. It's always going to feel like things feel hard. So I want to make sure that stress and that overwhelm that can come with not knowing where the next deal is coming from, not knowing where the next listing is coming from, is eliminated. And right now, whether you use social media for your business or not, you have 10 to 15 active listings sitting in your warm social media network right now. So we need to go through how to take your knowledge and your wisdom and what you already know, the things that you're already good at, and figure out how to turn it into clients who want to work with you, who are coming to you, and how to craft your marketing to attract that top 5% of people who are really ready to do something now. The way that we look at this and the way that we craft this is going to eliminate a lot of competition. It's also going to allow you to create a consistent revenue stream. So all of this is going to feel good. I don't teach anything that's going to feel salesy or that's going to feel uncomfortable or that feels like it's out of integrity with what you like to do. And if you want, at the end of this, I'll give you a list of questions. I'll send it along to be sent out to everyone who's here, of how to do the market research to make sure that you're getting the exact pains and problems in order to build the correct messaging for your marketing. Just really quickly, I know that, there was a quick intro. I just wanted to go through a quick, why should you even listen to me? Why am I here? I've helped over 30,000 agents craft their marketing messaging and attract clients from social media. Forbes and Entrepreneur Magazine come to me when they need social media advice and expertise for their publications, especially for real estate. I've spoken on some of the biggest stages in the world on how to get inbound clients online and how to build a 7-figure business. I built my own multi-7-figure business back in 2005 on Facebook. So I've never gone the traditional route, and I built everything online because of the way that my business was structured, and because I'm super introverted. So all of the extroverted, like go out and meet people and door knock and cold call and all of that was really difficult for me. So I figured out my own way in order to generate a lot of business in a way that felt comfortable for me. So let's get into it. 3 steps. We have the social profile funnel. We have the client-centric messaging, and we have captivating and convincing content. So these are the 3 steps that I'm going to go through with you now. First, we're going to start with the effective social media profile funnel. So a lot of people have a Facebook profile. A lot of people don't use it well for business, and those who do tend to not get a lot of business from it. So I'm going to show you what to do instead. So how many people here, because everyone's being super quiet, how many people here as of right now even have a Facebook profile funnel and use it? You can just type yes, you can raise your hand, you can, whatever way makes sense. So a lot of you. It probably looks a little bit like this for some people, and that's okay, no judgment. But we're going to talk about how to make it a little bit better. And the truth is your Facebook profile, your personal profile, is money waiting to be made. They're listings that are ready to drop, but we just need to know what needs to be on there. And people are watching. We all creep around online and look at people, and that's, it's a beautiful thing because it means that people are also watching us. So let me quickly go through with you the 4 things that we want to have on your actual Facebook profile. Now, I'm using Facebook as an example, but this also applies to all your other social media platforms. Okay, I'm just using Facebook because it's usually the easiest one for people to understand and relate to because people have had Facebook for the longest. So on Facebook, you have this huge banner photo. I'm using this example. This is Ashley. She lives in Detroit in the US, but she has her profile set up really well. And it doesn't matter what market you're in. Doesn't matter if you're in a small market or a really big market, this same structure will apply, and everything that we talk about today will apply. So starting out with your profile banner, which is this large photo right here. Some people call it a cover photo. Some people call it a profile banner. You can see here, it's the largest piece of real estate that you have on Facebook. And so we want to use it really well. A lot of people will tend to use this as something like this that floats. Sometimes it's a picture of a sunset. Sometimes it's a picture of a dog. Sometimes it's a picture of just something beautiful that they've seen, which for business is actually an ineffective way of using it because it's so big and because it shows up so frequently in front of the people who you're friends with on social media. So everything that I'm also talking about here today will also, you can set up your business page the same way, although you won't get as much organic business from your business page. And I think we've all probably struggled with this where we've thought, I don't understand why my Facebook business page has so little engagement. And the reason that happens is because you're saying to Facebook, I'm a business. And Facebook thinks I'm a business too. And they want you to pay in order to get the benefits of being a business on Facebook. So that's why a lot of what we're going to be talking about today is based on your personal profile, because that is where you're going to get the best organic reach. So starting out with your profile banner, we have this up here, and this here is Ashley. We have a large photo in color of Ashley. The reason why we need a photo in there as well is because face recognition for any brand is incredibly important, and you're building a brand alongside your Remax brand. So you have a large photo of yourself in color always. And then here she also has her value proposition statement. I'm going to go through the value proposition statement build with you in a second. But hers is using my alignment method. I help growing families in Metro Detroit find their dream home. So it's very clear what she does, who she serves, and what they want. The last thing here on the cover photo that's really important is a call to action. So she has a button here that says, click to download my free guide. That's important because this is the funnel part of it. This is how she's going to be able to follow up with people and keep them engaged. So if someone clicks on this button, they're going to be taken to a form that just has first name and email. And when they pop their email in there, Ashley's, oh, sorry. Everything okay with the mic? Okay, I think we're okay. I'm going to keep going. If you need me to slow down or stop, you just let me know.
Sorry, Jess, there was a problem with the Polish translation mic. Can we
Okay.
switch over to the other translator? Because I think hopefully the other mic is working. It seems like there was a problem with Angie's mic.
Okay.
Sorry
Just
for the
perfect.
interruption.
No problem. I just want to make sure. Okay, so with the call to action in the top corner, she's going to get an email and a first name, which is all she needs. And then from there, everybody who fills out that very simple form is going to get her alignment method guide, which is a very value-filled guide in which she goes through her steps for her alignment method that helps growing families in Metro Detroit upsize. So all of that is very, very value-filled. It's very, and this is before anybody has to reach out to her. This is very simple and very hands-off. So the other beautiful thing about this is that now she also has someone who's connected with her on social media, and she also has someone who she's connected with over email. So with those email addresses, she can also continue to follow up with valuable content, as well as here in her personal profile. So that's the mini part of the funnel that we want to talk about and that we want to create. Then next, we have a clear profile photo of her looking directly at the camera. It's not a headshot. So she hasn't gone overly professional with this because it's her personal profile. So it's an in color, smiling, eyes looking at the camera, which is very, very important. We don't want anything with sunglasses on or anything that has too many people in it where you aren't very identifiable. The next thing here we have underneath here is the value proposition statement. So this is, we can call it a value prop statement or an I help statement. And this is really, again, just reiterating what is up here in her cover photo in a way that it will always show up for the people who find her or are looking at possibly becoming a Facebook friend. And I'm going to explain why that's important in a second. And then after that, we have relevant content. This is your formula for building your I help statement or your value proposition statement. And the reason why this is so important is because it's so clear on exactly who you are, who you help, and what it is that you do. And it also allows you, and I'm going to talk about creating a signature system or a methodology in a second, but it also allows you to create more credibility with the method, so that you're not just being lumped in with the pool of every other real estate agent in your market. It's setting you apart and creating even more credibility and expertise. So my value proposition statement, as an example, is I help 6-figure real estate agents scale to 7 figures using my listings lab method. So you can see exactly how I drop this in. Ashley's that we just went through her profile was, I help growing families in Metro Detroit find their dream home using her alignment method. So you can play around with the wording and the order, but these are the things that you want to have in there consistently. So with these few tweaks and with the new content that we're going to talk about, Ashley went from having a full-time job and being part-time in real estate to having a multi-6-figure business in 2 years. And all of her business is generated through social media. So 100% of her business comes from online marketing. And this is just a couple of things that she said. So on Facebook especially, there's a lot of Facebook groups in a lot of different areas that someone will say, hey, we're looking at listing our home, or we're looking at listing our property. Do you have a recommendation for a real estate agent? And there'll be a ton of people who get tagged in those comments. But what ends up happening is people assume that they're not going to get that business because there's so many other people that are tagged. Everyone's just going to go through it quickly. Ashley consistently gets that business, and it's because of the way her profile is set up, and because people who will click on her name in that list of real estate agents, her profile is set up so well and it's very specific. And those people are also able to join her email list, get her alignment method guide very quickly, and see whether or not they resonate. So they're getting a lot of value very quickly without having to have a conversation, which with most people, just like if we think about it, right? Like when we go into a shop if a shop person comes up to us immediately and is like right in our face and saying, can I help you? Can I help you? What are you looking to buy? It's very overwhelming. And a lot of the time we will, even if we are looking for something very specific, we'll say to them, I'm okay, I'm just looking, which is what a lot of leads will say to you because it's just too much too fast. So what Ashley's able to do is give them a ton of value without actually having to be so in your face. So now that we have the profile set up really well, I want to go through messaging. So making sure that your messaging is there specifically for your clients, and it's going to attract the clients that you want. So if currently your marketing is getting you not a lot of clients or not the types of clients that you're looking for, there's something in your marketing messaging that's off. And if you want better clients, you have to market to those people in a way that they want to be spoken to. And most people in real estate make one of three mistakes in their messaging. They make it all about them. They're trying to speak to everyone, or a lot of the time when we're not comfortable with social media, we'll hire some third-party company just to post for us so that we're showing up for the sake of showing up, but not a lot of business is probably coming from it. And I'm going to address all three of these. The first one is it's not about you, it's about your clients. So a lot of the time, without even realizing it, people in real estate are creating content for their colleagues and not for their ideal clients. And this happens a lot, which is why so many people in real estate, all of their followers, all of their Facebook friends on different platforms are all other people in real estate. And the reason why that happens is because they're sharing things and talking about things that are relevant to themselves. And when you do that, a lot of the time it's not specifically curated and the messaging isn't attracting the ideal clients that you're hoping that it will. So instead of asking yourself in the morning, what do I want to post today? We ask ourselves instead, what does my ideal client need to hear from me today? What is going to be the most value that I can provide to my ideal audience? And when we have this detailed and targeted message, we also need to address their specific pains and problems. And someone briefly addressed this earlier today. People really don't move because it's fun. We move because there's something in our current situation that's not serving us. And we're looking for a solution or we're looking for the answer to that problem in a new property, a new location, a move. So the second part of this from a mistake standpoint is, especially when the market shifts, especially when there feels like there's not as much business happening, we tend to go very broad. So we hear things like, I'm here for all of your real estate needs. But what the general public hears from that is, I'll take what I can get. I'm not picky and I need business. And that's not the message that we want to be putting out there, especially as successful people in real estate. So part of this is also about breaking through the noise of all the other people in real estate. We really, really want to make sure that everybody who needs to see us, who should be working with us, is seeing it, resonating with it, and we're capturing those people's attention. And it's very hard to capture attention when you're saying the same things that all of the other agents in your market are also saying. So if we're trying to speak to everyone, we're speaking to no one. So all marketing needs to have a specific audience. You want to be speaking to a specific group of people who have a human-based reason for moving. So instead of focusing on location or type of property or, luxury or waterfront or something like that, what we want to shift to instead is a group of human beings with a shared problem. So young professionals, move up families, downsizers, first-time buyers. Those are people who have something specific that we can work with from a messaging standpoint, and then move forward to building a signature system or a service package that's specifically geared to exactly what they need. And again, just to reiterate, most agents actually don't really fully understand what's driving their ideal clients' moves because they're not asking those types of questions. So how do we figure all of this out? Well, we do market research interviews because the messaging always comes from the market. So often I hear of people in real estate who are running Facebook ads or who are running Google ads, and they're trying to figure out why their ads aren't working very well. Well, the number one reason why things aren't working well is because you don't have all of the information or the data in order to create really good messaging, because you haven't done the market research interviews. So when we do these market research interviews, we want to do them on the phone or over Zoom or in person. We don't want to email questions. So market research that's done over email is always very surface level and won't actually give you the reasons why people are really moving. And then we want to probe and ask further questions. Once we build the messaging, and this is a whole other 45-minute presentation, but I have a 9-point messaging sequence that takes someone from complete stranger to client. And those nine-point psychological journey from stranger to client is what creates inbound business. And in order for us to start even building out that psychological messaging, because I mean, all marketing is just psychology, we need the market research. So the interviews are the number one thing that will allow you to be successful on social media, so that you are using the correct messaging, you're using the correct pain points, and you're understanding what's driving your ideal client's moves. Once we have the messaging really nailed down, it allows us to actually create a product or a service package that is specifically built to be a solution for your ideal client's problems. Now, all businesses we know have products and services. And in real estate, a lot of the time, people make the mistake of making themselves the product. And so if you yourself are the product, it's going to be very difficult in the future for you to step out of being the delivery for all of the services. Like, let's say that you have a dream down the road of having a team, and you have a dream down the road of other people help you in your business so that you don't have to work so hard, but you can still build a big business. In order to do that, you can't be the only person that people trust. You have to build something, and a lot of that time it's a product that people will buy into and understand that other people can deliver as well as you. So having a signature system not only builds credibility, because it's not just I'm making it up as we go. It's a proven system for getting someone the results that they want, but it also removes you from being just another agent. So again, all products and services aim to solve that person's problem, and you get to build a signature system that becomes your service. So you can be Haley with your, I don't know, listings method. I'm just giving an example. And the listings method is how Haley becomes so well known. It's not just Haley, it's also the way that she does things in her method. And when you have really solid, specific messaging, you start to become that person who's speaking directly to your ideal clients. And very few people in your market will be doing that as well. And therefore, when someone is an inbound piece of business, if someone comes to you and says, Sophie, I'm ready, come list my house or come list my property, they're not going to then follow that up with, and will you discount your commission? That's never the second question, because they've come to you, right? So it allows you to have more power in the relationship, and it allows you to keep more control over how you deliver things in your business. And then one happy ideal client who came to you this way will lead to another and another and another, and it creates this compound effect or this domino effect. These are just some quick examples. This is what we want. This is what makes really, really good messaging clear that it's good. Just grabbed a new listing. First thing the owner says, have we met? I watch all of your videos, so I feel like we have, but I actually don't think so. I didn't even have to pitch the business. I was hired as soon as I got out of the car. This is the type of messages that we want to be getting. Just left a listing meeting. The wife said to me, I told my husband I didn't want to work with anyone but you. All of the videos you put out are like you're totally inside my brain. Really good marketing is being able to articulate what's in the back of your ideal client's head better than they can. Because when you do that, they'll automatically credit you with the solution. What we want is for people to be coming to you. Okay, so now that we've nailed the messaging, and you've done your market research and you know what you're putting out there from a messaging standpoint. Now we have to create content. But first, we have to deal with the elephant in the room, which is what stops us from posting on social media. It's always this. It was me. I was the same when I started using social media for my business. It was fear of judgment. I was worried about what my colleagues were going to think. I was worried about what my friends were going to think. And I was worried of the judgment of tons and tons of people. But it doesn't really matter what you're posting or what you're doing, whether you're posting about your dog, your family, food. Yes, Sophie, this is a great thing. She says fear of doing it poorly and not professionally enough, which is exactly why we need to put the weight behind it in order to create something that represents us well, which is not what most people in real estate are doing. And I'm going to talk about that in a second. Everyone is judging to a certain extent. Everyone is trying to categorize because that's what we do. But if anybody's ever unkind about anything, it really is never about you. It's about them. And so part of getting over or being okay with knowing that certain people are going to judge you is knowing that you're doing a good job and that there is a strategy behind what you're doing. Because if you're doing something and it's not working and people are commenting negative things on it, then it's going to be very, very upsetting. But if you have a really solid strategy behind what you're doing and you're getting business from it, if the odd person says, oh, I don't agree with you, then it's not going to feel so heavy because you're seeing results from it. And who cares if one person doesn't agree? Because a lot of the time it's the people that we're worried about are not actually the people who we're trying to attract. A lot of the time it's the other real estate agents or the other people in the industry who are all just copying each other and doing the same thing. So most of the people who you work with from social media will be strangers or people that you haven't spoken to in a while. And there's two different kinds of people that you need on social media. You have your sharers and we have your shoppers. So your sharers are people who will like and engage and comment and share all of your stuff online. Now, the people who are really solid future clients, they will not like or comment or share. They will lurk quietly. And then one day they will show up in your inbox completely unannounced and say, I'm ready. And you'll say, I had no idea we were even Facebook friends because I've never seen you or seen you anywhere on my posts. And that's normal. And keep in mind, your opinions don't pay your bills. They don't grow your business. There's always going to be someone who has an opinion. And a lot of the time, they're not people who are really going after it the way that you are. So reminder, you have a lot of listings sitting in your warm social media network, but what do you post? A lot of people have tried these, and I'm going to tell you to not go down this route. Just listed and just sold, under contracts, asking for referrals in business, real estate memes, posting content, reposting content from other people, market updates when they're infographics. Market updates can be done very well, but they have to interpret the data. So you want to always be showing up as an expert. A lot of the time a lot of real estate accounts will, post really beautiful photos of staircases and houses and things like that. Those things don't work. They don't work well. And they don't work because they're not targeted towards anyone. And all of us are selfish online. If we're not learning something, getting something that's very valuable to us in particular, or it's not really entertaining, we're just going to scroll past it. So we want to really make sure that we're putting the right things in front of the right people. So this is Norm. Norm is wonderful. He had a great business, but he was really trying to generate and double his business using social media. And he got 8 clients, 8 new listings in the first 60 days that he started implementing this. We got really clear on who his ideal clients were. He worked specifically with young families and upsizers. We identified the biggest pains and problems that those people were having. We identified his personal Facebook page as what was going to be his main source of how he would generate business organically. And he started consistently creating content to help those people. And he went from struggling on social media to 8 new clients in 60 days. And So he started with us quite a few years ago, and he didn't really do anything with the program for a while. All of our programs are lifetime access, so he was able to just kind of forget about it for a while. But then when he did come back, he was getting messages like, "Hey Norm, my husband and I have been approved for a mortgage of $400,000. We're ready to start seriously shopping. Will you be our realtor?" So that's a buyer, because in his market, they represent buyers. But these are the types of messages that we're going after. We want people coming to you saying, "We're ready, we are pre-approved by the bank, or we have this amount in cash. Will you be our realtor?" That's what we want. Will you be our real estate agent? So let's go through. I'm going to be fast because I don't have a lot of time left. I'm going to go through the content pillars. So authority content, personal content, and social proof. So authority content. This is content that shows that you're an expert, shows it's teaching content. Every single time someone asks you a question about real estate, especially active clients that you're working with, you, instead of just answering the question once to that person, you are going to pull out your phone afterwards. It doesn't matter if you're in the car, it doesn't matter where you are. You're going to pull out that phone and you're going to record your answer again, because those answers are going to create great content. The other kinds of content and authority content is understanding a part of your specific methodology or your specific process and why you do it that way. You're basically just teaching them something that they didn't already know. And these are just some quick examples of what that content can look like. Personal content is your second bucket of content. And this is content that reveals a piece of who you are. Now, a lot of people think you shouldn't have personal content in your business stuff. And I disagree, because the whole point of building marketing is to build what we call know, like, and trust. And how can someone know you, like you, and trust you if they don't know anything about you? People make decisions based on emotion before they make the decision based on logic. And it's very, very important that we're connecting with someone from an emotional level. People only work with people that they like. So we need to reveal a piece of who you are, share something that's happened in your life, tell stories. Stories are 22 times more memorable in marketing than facts are. So a lot of agents are out there sharing a lot of facts instead of telling stories. And the stories are what are going to make you memorable. You can talk about a philosophy that you have in life or business and really just share with your audience who you are outside of real estate. And these are just some examples. So happy birthdays, new hair, a book, a blanket, a pup, and a glass of water. This is how I spend my evenings. This is content that is going to allow people to get to know you a little bit better. Last bucket is social proof. So a lot of people in real estate tend to talk about how great they are online, but you saying that you're great doesn't hold very much weight. Other people saying that you're really great, then that holds some weight. So what we want to use instead for social proof is case studies, testimonials, and media, or PR. And I'm going to talk about what each of those look like. So PR, this is a great example of PR on the left. This is Justin. Justin was featured in Authority magazine. Now, locally, Authority magazine has a lot of people who read it. And so this was able to get him in front of more people who could be his ideal clients. But as well, he was able to use this piece of media in front of his current audience and create more credibility. Then we have case studies. Case studies are the stories of your clients. So this is a perfect example. A lot of my clients are in a similar situation as Jim and Laura. They need more space after their first son. They've been looking for the right house at the right price with room in their budget to make their own improvements. What this has done is it's set up for people who are in that same situation to immediately read this and say, I need to hear more about this specific story. And then she's able to go through her process, her method for how she works with young families who are upsizing. And she goes through that entire method and then talks about how it helped them and where they were at the end. So we've got pain problem, we have process solution, and then we have essentially the end result, which is the vision or the solution that they're looking for and how their life was better at the end. This is a much better way of doing this than bragging online or saying, I have another happy client. This actually gives a lot of value and teaches people along the way. And then testimonials, we all know what testimonials look like. It's always better to use a testimonial as a screenshot instead of designing it, because it holds more credibility, because it looks like it hasn't been doctored. So quickly, winning formula on social media: optimized profile funnel, client-centric messaging, captivating and convincing content, and consistency. Now, I'm just going to finish this up with why does this matter so much right now? Well, because the markets are different. And someone earlier talked about adapting and adopting, and more change and evolution in communication and the way that human beings communicate has changed or happened in the last 5 years than in the previous 30 years. So there's things that are happening. And so the big solution that we need to think about isn't how many phone calls am I going to make? It's how fast are you adapting and how fast can you interpret information? It's about how are you thinking about the problem? And I want to end this with a really quick story. This is Kendra Scott. Kendra Scott was sitting in a training much like this. And the person who was running the training said, one of you is sitting in $1 billion chair. And she was thinking, well, I just started my business. It's not me. I don't even belong here. I'm not ready for all of this. And she started a jewelry company during one of the hardest economic recessions ever. And everyone told her she was crazy. She now has 100 stores and a $1 billion valuation. So how did she do that? Well, what she did differently was she was an early social media adapter, and she shared her story online, and she built a connection to her audience. People don't buy Kendra's jewelry, people buy Kendra, and they love Kendra, and they know about her and her story and her journey, and her product is also beautiful. So my intention for you today is for you to feel inspired, for you to commit to taking your next courageous steps to your $1 billion chair, whatever that looks like for you. And I think it's so important that we understand that social media isn't going anywhere, and we need to adapt and we need to adopt. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run through this really quickly. If you want to talk to us about what it is that we do, I'm just going to leave this here because I went 5 minutes over time and Haley's here. So if you would like to talk to me, you can do two things. You can send me an email, which is just jess@thelistingslab.com, and I'll type that in the chat here if you have questions for me, or you want me to have a specific conversation about anything for you in particular. Or you can just book a call straight into our calendar at thelistingslab.com/apply.
Thank you so much, Jess. That was a really, I know I did not make your life any easier because we started a few minutes late, and then
okay.
I ate into your time. So but yeah, really, guys, go ahead and check it out. There's a lot of really great informative content. You'll definitely learn a lot if you go to thelistinglabs.com and learn a little bit more about Jess and the Listings Lab and their offerings. And I think the screenshots speak for themselves in terms of what you can gain by taking a quick peek and going over to thelistinglabs.com. We were chatting, I was chatting with my colleagues who I have here in the studio with me about your content, a lot of really applicable, easy. What I want to sort of impress upon everybody here, as you start heading back out there into the world and go about your day, is that these are all of the tools that just sort of like rushed through just now. They are very easy to implement. They just require you to sit down and think about it for a little bit, and most importantly, take action. Yes. If you only think about it, you won't get very far. So even if it's messy action in the beginning, yes, please take the action because you'll be ahead of the ones who are just sitting there thinking about it. Mm-hmm. Yes. So now I want to wrap it up. So because we're already a little bit over time, but thank you again so much, Jess, for sharing your social media strategy and some of your success stories from your clients on how social media has really been a driver for them in their business and how you helped them along their journey and their path to success. Thanks so much. Right. That's it for us for Spotlight today. Thank you to everybody who was joining in. Our next Spotlight is going to be coming back in the fall. So everybody enjoy your summers, and we will see you back then in the fall. I hope everybody has a wonderful summer and enjoys the sun a bit too. Bye, everyone.